To give you a little more control over gradients, there is a tool called the gradient tool. Once I have an object that's created and made into a gradient, I can select the tool by finding it in the toolbox, and it looks like a regular gradient swatch. And with this one, this gives me a line over whatever object I have selected. When I hover over this line, notice it looks like the regular gradient slider. I can move the slider around and say exactly where I want to place whatever color that I have. Additionally, I can click and drag and reposition the starting points, ending points, and angle of my gradients and how they stay within the line. If I change my type from linear to radial, it does the same thing, clicking and dragging to change the starting and stopping point of whatever I have. When working in the radial gradient, you'll also notice you've got two little points. This one allows you to adjust the size, and this one will allow you to adjust the roundness or the ellipse of what you have. Additionally, you can change the center point of it by dragging it down and moving it around as well. So the gradient tool really helps out to be able to customize and change up the gradient that you're working with. A final point is, in the later versions of Illustrator, you can add gradients to the strokes that you have. Right now this is a fill gradient, but if I was to swap it out, the gradient is now applied to the stroke that I'm working with. Let's make it a little bit thicker so that we can see what it looks like. There it is, you can see the gradient, and I'll change it back to a linear type gradient. And this is over any type of stroke pattern that I'm working with. When working with a stroke, also be aware that there's some different options that you can apply. This can go apply the gradient across the entire object, moving around with the stroke, or going from the center point outward from that stroke. Do be aware if you're using an older version of Illustrator, this object or this option may not be available, and you would have to expand your object, whatever stroke it is, into a solid object, then apply the gradient to there.